The National Executive Council met on 13th March 2022 and passed this resolution to have Hon Jimmy Wanjigi'S vie for the presidency of Safina Party. I, John Wamagata, the Secretary General of Safina Party, therefore propose to the National Delegate Conference to adopt the resolution of NEC to have Hon Jimmy Wanjigi'S to be the party flag bearer. Can we get a proposer and a seconder?
Thank you Thank you so much, Bwana SG. Thank you so much, Bwana SG. We need a proposer and a seconder so that I can move the motion to publicly endorse our candidate. There's one there. Kindly hand over the mic.
Thank you. I, Nicholas Nyamweya Mark Botongore, Safina Delegate number 21, from County 045 Kisii, Constituency 266, Nyaribari Masava, hereby propose.
Can we have a seconder?
Thank you. There's a lady on this side.
Asanteni delegates wote wale wako hapa. Ninakubaliana na ndugu yangu Kisii. Sisi kama tumekubaliana, mimi nimesupport Mheshimiwa Jimmy Wanjigi'S peperushe bendera ya Safina. Mheshimiwa Jimmy Wanjigi'S Safina tumetoka tangu 2013 na mzee Paul Mwite. Tuko na ofisi hii Western Region, tuko na ofisi Kakamega, Bungoma, Busia.
invite, or rather welcome, a hero of the second liberation of this country, a godfather to many, political father to me and many others. Our party
tega sikio nikueleze, kuna mmoja anayejua shida za Wakenya, kuna mmoja anayejua tabu za Wakenya. Fearless, limitless.
Start by thanking all honorable delegates for being able to be here at this important function. Thank you very much. I also wish to acknowledge and thank the honorable members of parliament who are with us. We appreciate your presence a lot. And I want to acknowledge, appreciate, and thank the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya for honoring this function with his presence. When Safina was formed in 1994, we had a vision that we continue to adhere to up to now. The summary of that vision is that no Kenyan should sleep hungry because he or she does not have enough food. It is the right of every Kenyan vision. It is the right of every Kenyan to have access to clean water. It is the right of every Kenyan to have access to affordable health care, to have access to affordable education for their children. In a word, every Kenyan deserves a chance. That is our vision. When you look around, even the middle class, the engineers, the doctors, lawyers, they are struggling to sustain their families. It is not the way it should be. University lecturers are struggling to buy a car to pay house rent. The first liberation before 63 attained liberation. We became independent. The second liberation, for which many of us sacrificed and suffered for, achieved the 2010 Constitution. This third liberation that is beginning now is to liberate Kenya economically and socially. We want every Kenyan to live in dignity and free from want. Every Kenyan needs a decent house to live in with their families. That is the vision we have. And for those of you who may be wondering why Safina is aligned economically, socially with the UDA, it is because the vision UDA has for this country. is identical to Safina's vision for this country as far as socio-economic policies are concerned. On behalf of the party, I want to say in the presence of the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya that when Safina wins, the President said, we will invite you and UDA to come to the serikali pamoja. Na kwa sababu ya Mungu ni mengi, huenda ikawa ya Mungu ni mengi. Mukishida pia mutualike. Tutakuja tude serikali pamoja. I thank you. God bless you. God bless Safina. And God bless our beloved country. I have no doubts that the journey begin ya kuinua hali ya maisha economically, socially for a majority of our people. I thank you. God bless you. Thank you.
Kuna chama moja, chama ya Wakenya, chama ya wazee, chama ya vijana, chama ya
Wapi makofi ya Mheshimiwa Paul Mwite, a living legend, our second liberator hero. Now I'll request all the delegates to angalie screens. There's a video for us.
After a long struggle with the colonial powers, our beloved country Kenya was handed over to us at independence in 1963. This was the first liberation. Almost 30 years after our independence, Kenya was still under the yoke of dictatorship. We had been liberated from the colonial master, but continued to suffer under the single-party rule. A second liberation was overdue. We saw young thugs and champions of liberation, among them the late Dr. Richard Leakey and Honorable Paul Mwite, Senior Counsel, joined the struggle for multipartyism. In 1991, thus allowing a multi-party system. Together with others, the duo would later in 1995 form the Safina Party. Despite continuous harassment and from the Safina Party soldiered on 1997 participated in elections and 5 parliamentary seats and several civic ward seats. The party leader, Honorable Paul Mwite, in 2013 general elections vied for the presidential seat on a Safina ticket.
I entered into the presidential race in 2013 in order to encourage young people, including your children, my children, and the others, that you don't have to come from any particular family to contest the elections.
30 years since the second liberation, Kenyans continue to struggle.
Kila kitu imeongezwa. Hata kupata makastoma ni ngumu. Hata saa hii siwezi pika nyama juu nyama imekuwa bei kali. Mtu anasema afadhali akule mboga asave kidogo.
Kwa serikali ya saa hii sioni hope. Tungechagua wala watu wengine maybe tunaweza kuwa na hope, lakini hao wenye wako kwa serikali ya saa hii imekuwa ngumu.
Lazima ni 40 juu ni right yangu kwa 40. Ndio niweke kiongozi pale mwenye ataangalia maisha yetu.
Hakuna haja ya kupeleka tu mtu huko, mtu ambaye anaangalia tu tumbo yake peke yake, lakini wananchi wa chini wanaumia.
Siwezi chukuliwa ahead timba ina. My question is, kwani D minus? Si vita ni vita. You don't have to get an A to go to Somalia. Mimi asinichukulie tu niende nioshage bana. It's loyalty. Mimi lazima ati mambo na pesa. Mimi nataka kwenda kupigania nchi yangu.
Today, about 53% of Kenya's struggle is real. We have lost hope. We need a savior. An economic time to everything. Fagia wote. It is an Itwika moment. It is generational leadership with significant importance as the older generation hands over leadership to the next generation. It is a new dawn. Ni wakati wetu. Fagia wote. Tuomoke pamoja.
Chama ya wazee, chama ya vijana, chama ya kina mama, chama ni Safina, chama ni Safina, chama ni Safina. Kuna chama moja, chama ya Wakenya, chama ya wazee, chama ya vijana, chama ya kina mama, chama ni Safina, chama ni Safina.
Okay, I'll now call upon three of us to give endorsement statements. I'll start with Frederick Mwirigi. You are, please. Come. Makofi. Shemo Sili, be on standby. And Wamboi. Thank you.
Safina, mimi nataka kusikia sauti kubwa. Unajua mimi nimetoka Meru huko na tunapenda kelele sana. Nikisema Safina mnasema fagia. Safina! Safina! Mimi Frederick Mwirigi nimesimama hapa kutoka upande wa Mount Kenya, Meru, kuambia kwamba dunia na siasa ya Kenya inaanza wakati huu. Na leo ndio tunaanza campaigns za Kenya. Kweli ama uongo? Kweli ama uongo? Ndio sababu tumekuja hapa kushirikiana Wanjigi, kwa sababu Njimi Wanjigi pale Meru sio mgeni. Amekuwa mwenyeji. Mnamkaribisha hata kwenu pia. Safina! Na mimi mara ya pili kwa sababu ya Your Excellency. Niko na furaha kubwa sana. Nimemalizia hapo.
I'll now call on Shem na tafadhali be brief kwa sababu ya wakati.
Safina. Safina.
Asanteni sana. Sitakuwa na mengi la kusema leo. Yangu itakuwa ni machache sana. Kwa jina naitwa Shem Osi. Nimefagiliwa nikajikuta niko kwa Safina kwa ajili ya chama kutoka kule Homa Bay County. Munajua Homa Bay County ni wapi? Na lazima uwe mwanaume ndio ujitokeleze nje. Kwa sababu ya kwanza nataka kusema hivi, Mheshimiwa our presidential candidate kuja Homa Bay, sisi ndio tulimkaribisha. Sisi ndio tulikuwa nyuma yake. Sasa alipotolewa kwa chama, tukasema sasa tunabakia na nani? Na yeye ndio alikuwa na kifagio ya kufagia Homa Bay yote. Safina Mambo yengine ya pili, nitasema machache sana. Hii Safina, mimi kama ni mtu nimetoka kule Victoria. Hii mwanzoni nimeona hawapati leader pia. Na unajua ametoka mbali na hii Safina. So kuna wakati nilikuwa ndani na watu wengi kwa hii Safina. Tunaona sasa watu wakaanza kupiga kelele, oh tunakufa. Mimi nikachomoka mbio paka pale kwa niangalie driver ni nani. Niliporusha macho nikaona Jimmy Richard Wanjigi ndiye akiwa driver. Nikarudi nikaambia watu tulieni, we are on the safe hands. Hakuna mawimbi jatuangusha. Jimmy akiwa driver wa Safina. Safina! Safina! Nataka tena kusema ya mwisho. Nimeona rafiki yangu, najua kuna wale kwetu kule Umabei, tunaonanga tu watu kwa TV tu. Leo nimeona deputy wangu ambapo nampenda kwa macho. Kile nimeshangaa. Kuna wakati mwingine Biblia ilikuwa nasema mtu mmoja alikuwa anaitwa Petro. Alipoambiwa wewe ni mfuasi wa Yesu akasema hapana. Nimeona DP akitembea, nimeona huyu mtu anatembea kama Yesu kweli. Nimeona vile anacheka, nimesema huyu mtu anacheka kama Yesu. Kumbe ni Bwana. Mubarikiwe sana.
Asante sana Shem. It's now my honor to welcome Wamboi Wanjigi, the daughter of His Excellency Jimmy Richard Wanjigi.
The Deputy President of Kenya, Safina Party Leader, Honorable Paul Moite, distinguished guests, it is a great pleasure to be here for the Safina Party National Delegates Conference to lend support for my father. You have to excuse me a bit as I'm a bit inexperienced with speech writing, so I apologize for that. I'd like to start by saying that one of the greatest and most important lessons my father taught my brother and I is to always believe in our dreams and pursue it with passion. A lesson in which I see him achieving every day. My father's dedication not only to our family but to his work is one of the qualities in which I admire him the most. He has been my role model, my teacher, and my best friend. I wish you well, Dad, as you take this mantle and this quest to be the 5th President of the Republic of Kenya. It is my hope that when you ascend into office, you serve the people in true affirmation of God's will for man and woman. Every person deserves a decent life and the opportunity to live with dignity. It is my prayer to wish that the people of Kenya get to experience the caring, visionary, and great person that you are, and benefit from your leadership and wisdom. With that being said, I'd like to introduce the next 5th President of Kenya, Jimmy Wanjigi.
Bwana DJ, tuko na Washira ambaye atamkaribisha our candidate. DJ Washira.
Let's be upstanding and welcome our President, His Excellency Jimmy Richard Wanjigi.
And now, let us be upstanding to welcome on stage the Safina Party presidential nominee for the 2022 August general election, Jimmy Richard Wanjigi.
Mwenye macho ametazama tega sikio nikueleze. Kuna mmoja anayejua shida za Wakenya, kuna mmoja anayejua tabu za Wakenya. Fearless, limitless.
Asanteni sana, asanteni sana. Please, have a seat. Get it. Safina! Safina! Leo ni siku ya Itweka. Itweka! Itweka! My party leader, the entire party leadership, na Sudi, asanteni sana. Karibu. I want to thank the delegates and party members for the honor bestowed on me as the presidential candidate. With humility, I accept the nomination. Which I'll try and make short. Kwa sababu hii, unajua accept nomination lazima tuzungumze kimombo kidogo. Hata watu wa nje watusikie, si ndio? So please, just another party delegates congress. It is the day marking a turning of a new leaf for our country, a new chapter. Itweka. When the party leader and I first discussed my joining Safina as the proposed presidential nominee, I fully understood the challenge and the opportunity. You bestowed upon me a responsibility and duty, not just as our resilient Safina party, but more critically on behalf of millions of great Kenyans. We are ushering in a new chapter for our country. I accept this task with deep obligation, unshakable resolve, and complete dedication, all the while being aware of its burdens and decisive importance. Together, we will build a firm foundation. Our goal is very clear. We are an instrument of transformational and systemic change. We are ushering in Itweka, a break from the old order, of personalities and aggregated greed for power. It is our resolve to give our country a different leadership, to cement a progressive, irreversible gains in our governance and institutional arrangements. The system must be reset to ensure no one is left behind. Every Kenyan, every community, every corner of this country must enjoy the of our individual and collective sweat. We must have total victory. I repeat, we must have the 99% of Kenyans have total victory August 9th, 2022. Itweka. Safina Party has a storied history of being an instrument of real change, even in moments of adversity. I stand for the presidency of this party to create an alliance of all Kenyans. And I want to read something, because one question I have had throughout is, why are you doing this? Wewe Jimmy unakaa mzuri, sasa unataka nini na siasa? Why are you doing this? I want to be categoric. Categoric. Wajua, when you reach my stage and age, you understand fully what Itweka moment is. In every man's life, there comes a moment when one must search for a cause, a work, an ideal under which he must give himself. Whether he says yes or no is a challenge to be determined in the future. There comes a moment when we become tired of trying. There comes a moment in a man's life when, to get where we have to go, where there are no doors or windows, we must walk through walls. There comes a time in a moment of a man's life when he must choose to stand or run. A moment when you must look up the bench and you have to say to yourself, can't anybody play this game better? And you realize that you must be the one. There comes a time when a decision by a man to get into the arena has often been made by the difference between the greatness or mediocrity of a nation. That is why I am in this. The system is rigged and is broken. It is for the very few. There was a time, as you saw here, my party leader stood up from his offices in Electricity House. He was one of the most successful lawyers at the time. And he came out of his profession to risk his life to fight for the human rights liberation, second liberation, which we have today. Kenneth Stanley Jindo Matiba is another one such hero. This is not necessarily done by the people who are in politics. It takes all of us, especially the young people I see here, to say this time we are going to be involved. No matter what, it is our time, it is our lives. Kenya is a country of firsts. We waged an armed struggle against the British colonialism, grabbing our country. We won. Itweka. We fought single-party dictatorship. We won. Itweka. We fought in peacetime for a new progressive 2010 constitution that secured the rights and dignity of every mwananchi in this country. We won. Itweka. Our courts, which have been in the forefront of ensuring those rights in that constitution are upheld, protecting the constitution, had a landmark ruling in 2017, where they nullified a presidential election, a first on this continent. We won Itweka. We also have, for the young women here, kama mumesahau, the first Black African Nobel Peace Prize winner, Wangari Maathai. We won Itweka. But Kenya is at a peril. Despite all these national milestones, repeated government failures have brought the country to its knees. At independence, we inherited a very dangerous virus, kama hii corona. It has been mutating in every election cycle since 1964, taking different names, taking different colors, taking different shapes. The generation of the original virus is positioning itself to mutate into a third variant. Virusi, hatari. It is another 60 years of slavery and deprivation in the making. Hatari iko mbele yetu. Our concerns must be with the future generations. The world is changing. What platform are we giving them? The old order must die. It must be wiped out. We must end transactional politics. Itweka. Our country has been mortgaged to crippling debt, killing economic activity, incomes, opportunities for our young people. Our young people have lost purpose. They cannot see their future. Kweli ama si kweli? Kweli ama si kweli? Their dreams and aspirations have been shattered. Kweli ama si kweli? We must never pay a debt that has been borrowed so that people steal. Kweli ama si kweli? Cent must be accounted for. There's out there ya kwamba Kenya is the wealthiest nation in Africa. Mumesikia hiyo? Let me give you some bare facts. Out of 17 million employed Kenyans, 17 million, mumeshika hiyo? Only 79,000 earn 100,000 shillings a month. 100,000 shillings a month. That is less than $1,000 ulimwengu. That is 0.5% of the people of the workforce of Kenya who earn 100,000. Sio ni aibu sana? Out of every 100 Kenyans, 53 today cannot put food on the table. Hiyo ni aibu ama si aibu? We are talking about fellow Kenyans. There was a time, it was 38, not too long ago, 10 years ago. In February of this year, in 2020, the central bank governor, ili wasiseme we are distorting their mouths. The central bank governor faulted the country's economic structure, which has been delivering growth without job creation or rising income. Yani unaonesha GDP is rising, but the jobs and rising income do not exist. In 2020, the national census data puts unemployment rate at 39%. Yani, in figures, 5.4 million people do not have jobs. This is courting a national socio-economic disaster. Kenyans talk about corruption. It is not corruption. This is called state capture. Itweka. Today's Business Daily ya leo inasema out of a survey of 100 countries in the world of unhappiness, yani the top being the happiest, the bottom of 146 being the unhappiest, Kenya iko 119 unhappy. Mumejaribu 119 unhappy. Kwa nini? The biggest single reason is corruption. Corruption. State capital. The state has been taken over by economic terrorists. Washindwe. 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 Has not only suffocated Kenyans, it has made it impossible for our small businesses to thrive and grow. It has captured and stolen our health, our education, our livelihoods, our social security. It is parasitic, predatory, virus, virusi. It is cruel. It has no human face. We have suffered the chain of governments and leaders who do not and have exercised very poor judgment. Kenya now is at a pivotal moment. With a unity of purpose, redefined in its economic and political landscape, this is the defining moment. The country is now in need of bold, visionary, caring leadership. Caring leadership. Itweka. 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 The problems we face are the product of 60 years of political governance failures. In the African culture, Itweka, kwa sababu ni lazima labda nyinyi hamjui hii ni nini. Itweka is a revolutionary call to change leadership from one generation to another. When life has become unbearable, see, it's unbearable. From an old leadership to fresh leadership. Old ways to new ways. Kubembeleza, unajua revolution si ya kubembeleza. We have had a national decline of our nation. The tools of yesterday cannot meet the needs of today and tomorrow. This national decline, rather than national greatness, has spoiled this God-blessed nation. We need a breath of fresh air, of progress and determined dedication in our motherland. We are in the midst of a historic moment. We must chart this radical course. This is beyond business as usual era. It is a moment of bold, forward-thinking leadership. A time to say no more. A time to say resilience, innovation, competitiveness must meet the needs of this nation. That should be the cornerstone of our leadership. Economic security is national security. We must, and we have a decisive obligation to ensure economic inequalities are breached. Social mobility must be breached. Of having a country of 1% billionaires and 99% poor people. Kuna maana? Haina haja hata kidogo. Look at our SMEs. We are going to partner with the private sector to develop a conducive environment for growth and investments in manufacturing. We are going to break down the cost of doing business, improve and reduce the regulatory demand that stifles the growth of SMEs. Ati unaambiwa you need 1,000 licenses to start your business. Will be record-breaking. In a record-breaking period, will attract new productive investments. A lot of this we'll talk more when we come to manifesto. In agriculture, I want to just explain a little bit here about the disparities. In agriculture, agriculture contributes 34% of what we produce in this nation, GDP. Lakini ni vizuri mjue, kwa hela to the exchequer, it is only contributing 2%. 2%. Over a third of what we produce, only 2% is going to the exchequer. In contrast, manufacturing contributes 8% of GDP. Imeshuka chini. In 2012, it was 17.5%. And contributes 17.5% of revenue. Umeshika hiyo. Na Deputy President, najua huku kwenu ni majani chai. Na majani chai nachaka mjue, si mnajua ketepa? Si mnajua ketepa? Ketepa, if you go to where Deputy President comes from, and Isaac Ruto here, Mheshimiwa, you will see the farmers, women and young people especially, picking tea all day, hata kukiwa na mvua. Hiyo ketepa chai goes through a little process in a factory hapa Kenya. Lakini what you don't know ni ya kwamba hiyo chai inaenda Ulaya, inaenda Dubai. From Dubai, it comes back in a tea bag ambayo nyinyi mnanunua hapa. Na imetoka hapa. Ketepa tea, none of it is manufactured here. That is how sad this story is. Very sad. Cheap and reliable energy must be a key driver for economic productivity and competitiveness. We guarantee energy supply, green energy, competitively priced, economically friendly, and meeting a basic requirement for competitive economy. Our energy will be focused on 4 objectives: secure, plentiful, diverse energy supply, robust, reliable infrastructure, competitive and stable energy pricing. We will aggressively pursue opportunities presented by the global decarbonization agenda, including green hydrogen and its derivatives. An efficient and effective transport system is vital for this economy. And let us get it. Najua kuna watu ambao they like to show. But I'll just give one small example. Nairobi here. There why Nairobi iko ndani katikati Nairobi. So government services, everybody. The second ni transit, matatus. Ukitaka kutoka hapa Bomas kwenda Embakasi, you must go to town, unabadilisha matatu, unashika ingine. Hapo ni kweli ama si kweli? That congestion causes that traffic. Instead of building a highway in the middle of the city, all we are going to do simply in hivi is do ring roads. Si mnajua ring roads? Ukiwa hapa, ukitaka kwenda Embakasi, you don't need to go to town, unaenda tu. Ukitaka Westlands, iko upande huu. Ring roads solve traffic problems. In China, there's a place called Shanghai. Mumeshasikia huku? Huku Shanghai, iko na watu 18 million. Hakuna jam. Hakunanga jam. 18 million. Jam saa 3 asubuhi na saa 6 usiku is the same. Kama kazi yako iko 15 minutes away, it is 15 minutes away, saa 3 asubuhi, saa 6 usiku. Mmeshika hiyo? Life is the same throughout the day. 18 million people. Sisi ni watu wachache hapa, 4 million. Si tunaweza? Itweka. Nimeona wa vijana wengi hapa. Sasa hii mambo ya bundles na digital na sijui nini, kwa hesabu yetu tumefanya bundles zenu yote to give people 2,000 shillings worth of bundles. Hiyo ni pesa mingi, ni muhimu sana. That is something that is affordable by this country. Because what we want to do, unajua kuna conquest agenda, na agenda ni information. We want you to get bundles because that is where job creation, self-employment, creativity inatoka. Kweli ama si kweli? Kweli ama si kweli? We want the world to download you. Si nyinyi muna download the world. Munashika. Hiyo ndinyi, you are being conquered all the time na information ya huko. Itweka. Itweka. Hii kitu ni very long. I don't know why they made it so long here. I think I'll give my speech. I want to articulate, kwa sababu the speech is very long. I want to articulate something that's very touching to my heart. You know, we are a country that must today, and from today on, say you cannot be happy when you see your fellow Kenyan hungry. Wajua kimila za zamani, your neighbor never went hungry. The other day, I saw a truck ya food relief ambayo ilikuwa imeoverturn hapo Roysambu. Mliona hiyo? And I saw people in Roysambu going for that food. Na ujue hiyo chakula inaenda kwa wengine ambao hawana. But they are so hungry, na ni hapa tu Nairobi. Hapa. We cannot talk about the pride of a nation when our people do not have anything in their stomachs. Kweli ama si kweli? We cannot. Indira Gandhi in India said the pride of India will only be returned when there is nothing like famine, when there is nothing like a hungry Indian person. And when she did her green revolution in India, today usikii muindi ambao ananja, munamsikia? You cannot even imagine. Those were world headlines just about 30, 40 years ago. Now, the population of that country, not even the landmass of Africa, the population of India is 1.3 billion. Na kuna mtu anaenda usiku nyumbani kilala na njaa. Wapigie makofi wale. Let me talk to our skilled human capital. This is a globalized world. We must think locally. We must think globally and act locally. We have the potential of transforming all our young people's lives. Our education system is one of the highest on this continent. We must bridge the gap between learning outcomes and future challenges. We must recognize this is a rapidly changing world. We cannot have children sitting on stones and dilapidated classes anymore. Itweka. Itweka. To the youth and women of this country, I want to talk to you with my heart. Gender parity and youth inclusion is a fundamental principle of sound governance, fairness, and equity. We will advance gender equity, women empowerment as part of our broader commitment to inclusive economic growth. There's a fair chance for everybody to have their share of our national cake. You are the young people 76% of the population of this country. Itweka! Itweka! Najua, I was here a little while ago when ANC party leader my good friends what he called an earthquake moment. I want to give you the significance of the ark. The significance of the ark. We have committed that this is now the period of economic revolution. Every Kenyan must attain what is guaranteed and enshrined in Article 43 of our Constitution. Your social and economic rights guarantee the following. Amuskize, yani iko kwa katiba. Guarantees food in your stomach. It guarantees and says you have a right to education. You have a right to water and sanitation. You have a right to health. Let nobody act as though they are doing you favors. Kupatia hiyo nyinyi. This is not about favors. It is your right. It is your right. Noah's Ark came at an interesting period in biblical history. Noah was 600 years old. God released the rains that lasted 40 days and 40 nights, causing the floods. Noah and his wife and sons and their wives, along with animals, were taken aboard the ark. They were spared the flood and survived. But every living thing outside the ark was destroyed in the waters of the flood. The flood symbolizes the turbulent times and challenges a country is experiencing due to greedy and selfish decisions of leaders who lack vision for the future of their country. These decisions have led to the current sorry state of our wonderful nation, characterized by high debt, joblessness, and the high cost of living. These floods set in the world had my good friend Musalia Mudavadi say, earthquake, earthquake. What comes after an earthquake? Tsunami, tsunami. What comes with a tsunami? Floods, floods, floods. Na nani ataokoa inchi out of floods? Safina, Safina, Safina. Let me announce here today that those who have played a part in the destruction of the rule of law, the economy, and the livelihoods, one day will be brought to book and held accountable. Itweka! Itweka! We can no longer stand by and watch passively. The current social contract that has failed and collapsed. As stewards of the people, our leaders have abused the responsibility vested in them at the expense of the citizens. And they are trying to find their way back. A new social contract and covenant must be established in Kenya. Move forward to greatness. I conclude. our social contract and mine. We are committed to renew the social contract for the people of Kenya. Itweka. We will rebuild and social from the past. Itweka. We commit to strengthen governance and accountability for the sake of present and future generations. Itweka. We commit to take the time to rebuild our country after the flood of corruption and inequity. Itweka. We will undertake to ensure that each and every Kenyan exercises their right to live a decent and dignified life as enshrined in Article 43 of our Constitution. Itweka, itweka, itweka. Asanteni sana.
Demo version. Fagia. Demo version. Jimmy. Fagia. Mount Kenya mpaka Rift Valley. Western mpaka uko Nyanza. Naomba tusimame tafadhali. Naomba tusimame mahali tuko tafadhali. Fagia. Corruption na land grabbers. Fagia. Na magos. Fagia. Wale wote wanaleta fracas. Fagia kila place fagia. Jimmy fagilia wote. Fagilia. Naomba tafadhali tutoe kofia. Za fagia. Fagia na kofia. Mpaka uko Nyanza. Eastern mpaka Senturo. Fagia kila place fagia. Corruption na fagia. Wash na maghost workers. Fagia. Wale wote wanaleta fracas. Fagia kila place fagia. Fagia kila place fagia. Wapi makofi ya Mheshimiwa Steve Mbogo tafadhali. Asante sana Mheshimiwa. Microphone yako.
Asante. Aya. Wapo. Safina. Now I want to teach you how it goes so that tunaenda pamoja. Si ni kweli? Nikisema Safina unasema fagia wote. Nikisema fagia wote mnasema tuomke pamoja. Mnasema kwa njia safi sana. Sawa sawa? Haya twende. Safina. Fagia. Mr. Honorable Mwite, His Excellency, our aspirant, Jimmy Richard Wanjigi, His Excellency, President of the Republic of Mheshimiwa Ruto, on my right, Her Excellency Nzisa Wanjigi, former chairman and the initiator of Council of Governors and also the party leader of Mashinani, Honorable Isaac, Mheshimiwa Gachagua, the MP of Madira constituency, Mheshimiwa Oscar Sudi from Kapseret, Mheshimiwa Didmas Baraza from Kimilili, Mheshimiwa Kimani Ichung'wah, Member of Parliament Kikuyu, Mheshimiwa Kate Waruguru, Member of Parliament Laikipia, the Chairman, the Secretary General of Safina Party, and all the dignitaries. Hamjambo. Pamoja with the beautiful delegates and the beautiful Kenyans in the house. Hamjambo. Now I take this opportunity to welcome you and tell you that the journey to change has begun. It is said that change is inevitable, and if you cannot change, it will change you. So I want to take this opportunity to recognize also the leaders, the delegates from all the regions. Maybe we will just wave. We have leaders from the coastal region and people from coastal region here, the delegates. Asante. We have upper and lower eastern Nyumba. Asante. We have northeastern Kenya. Nawaona. Mount Kenya, the people of Kenya. Asante. Nawaona. The great people of Nairobi. Nairobi. Asante. We have Western and Nyanza. Asante, asante, asante. Okay. Yangu yatakuwa machache. First, I will invite the leaders present. I'm sorry, I forgot to recognize the nominated Senator, Isaac Mwaura, is also in the house. Apigiwe makofi. And because of that, we will go quick because of time. I will invite, we will start with Isaac Mwaura to speak on behalf of the senators in the house. Karibu Mheshimiwa, just a quick word with the people.
We keep the promise, tuomoke pamoja, omoka na Jimmy, wa Kenya. We keep the promise.
Safina. UDA. UDA. Thank you very much. The party leader, the presidential candidate of Safina Party, the Honorable J.W. Jim Wanjigi, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, William Samuel Ruto, the leader and mentor, Paul Kibugi, all protocols. I am very delighted to stand before you here today because this is very moment. This journey to come to your NDC through a tweet that a Kenyan thought that Jimmy Wanjigi, Isaac Mwaura and others who are chased away from our former political party. And I followed the thread, and we ended up meeting with Jimmy at the NDC of UDA. We struck a chord, so much so that we left each other yesterday at 1:30 a.m. as he was preparing for this NDC. Very important note as well is for party leader Paul Kibugi, who served for 20 good years as a member of parliament for Kabete, and who was born out of the young tax, and he fought his way to liberate Kenya in the second liberation of this country. Let's clap for him. I met him for the first time in 2007 at a meeting at Silver Springs where Wamagata, you are present, and His Excellency the Deputy President then was sent by ODM to represent the party or the movement as we were clamoring reforms before the general election that were coming. I stand here today as quite unlikely the first person with albinism to be both a member of parliament as a result of the struggle by Safina, a party that actually fought and ensured its then Secretary General, Richard Leakey, actually went into parliament on a wheelchair. And when he was made the head of as chairman, not just the woman to become a member of parliament. It is out of the constitution, the position of those with in the National Assembly or in the Senate. Itweka. I, Isaac Mwaura, a son of a single woman, decided to speak against the idea that only people from certain families can be president of the Republic of Kenya. You cannot have a Kenyatta, an Odinga, a Moi, and that like that. Even you can be president of the Republic of Kenya. It is possible. So Jimmy Wanjigi, your dreams are valid. As a result, just like Paul Muite and others did, we are the new left. I paid the price. I was in court for 10 good months. I had 7 court cases. I appeared in court over 30 times. Dismissed, chased out of parliament like a dog on 7th of March. And they said to me, and if obscure all of us took together. Oh. Because the strength.
Asante, asante. To invite the Member of Parliament.
Thank you very much. I want to take this opportunity to the congratulations. Direction you so that we look at numbers, because it all on the 9th of August this year, the numbers will make a decisive action in this country and we begin the journey for economic liberation. And we want to say, Jimmy, Wanjigi'S and Safina, we have a job to do with all of us in UDA to liberate this country from state capture. The economy of this country is down. All businesses are shutting down. Nobody is making profit. It's only businesses run by one family that are thriving. And this cannot be. We must free the people of Kenya from state capture. We are looking at a situation where the military, through state capture, there was a deliberate scheme to monopolize that industry, where the owners of that industry from one family set the prices for milk from the farmers, prices of how much to give the consumers. And as a result, you exploit both consumer. This must be brought to an end. This family capture. The project being pushed around is a deliberate scheme of family capture, where three have sat down and decided that they want to rule Kenya for the next 200 years. And we have the Kenyatas, the Jaramogis, and the Mois. And these three families have been sitting down and saying, despite the fact that the presidency of Mwai Kibaki was the most celebrated in terms of economic empowerment, in terms of empowering people, those three families are saying that the Kibaki presidency was indeed a mistake. What should have happened is that the three families should continue exchanging. We had the Kenyatta, we had the Moi, they say the Kibaki was a mistake. Now we have the Kenyatta, they want us to go to the Odinga, then we go back to the Moi, then we go back to Kenyatta. Is it possible? It's not possible. So the people of Kenya must stand up to the planned family capture and come up with the leadership that will put the people of Kenya first. And the three families are not interested. The people of Kenya is protecting their family and business interests. And the people of Kenya must stand up to that. So the people of Safina, as you fagia water, you need to get you fagia the wheelbarrow and take it to the sea. Asanteni.
Man we have